Lanturn introduced a brand new dual type, Water Electric. This typing is so cool. I'm very excited to give this electric fish a go in the generation it debuted in. The playthrough rules, software I use, and a guide to replace your starter are all in the video description. Check them out if you're interested. I nicknamed my Chinchou Football because I read up on what this thing's based on, and it's based on a football fish. This thing? Fabulous. Alright, time to do my first battle. Oh hey, Generation 2, the place where back sprites look like the Pokemon they represent. This is so refreshing. While Pokemon like Gligar got move pools that don't make sense in Generation 2, the Chinchou line didn't get this treatment. It has access to Thunder Wave, Supersonic, Water Gun, Spark, Confuse Ray, Zap Cannon. I'm not actually sure why you would use Zap Cannon. Rain Dance, Thunder, Surf, and Flash. I rarely mention that last one, but it's actually quite flavorful for this Pokemon. After all, it has a light hanging off of its face. It also learns Ice Beam and Thunderbolt in Crystal version by the newly introduced Move Tutor. He's only available after Lance though. So this is a great move pool. What I don't like about it is its only damage dealing move when it starts is Bubble. Bubble is bad. 20 base power. At least it gets the same type attack bonus, and it also leverages Chinchou's best stat. So let's review them. It has 75 HP, 38 attack and defense, 56 special attack and defense, and 67 speed. So that's decent special stats and good speed with poor physical stats. I think that it's set up for success because of this, and when it evolves, yes I will be evolving in today's playthrough, all of the stats increase, except its speed. Its speed just stays the same. At least it's not Octillery where its speed actually gets worse. That's really frustrating. Today I think 67 speed is going to be fast enough, especially for a playthrough. After I get Whitney's badge and the speed boost, I should move first against most tough opponents. Now, as I complete the Mr. Pokemon Fetch quest, it immediately becomes noticeable what one of Chinchou's weaknesses is. It's part of the slow growth rate. Unfortunately, in Kanto, this growth rate has been the kiss of death for solo speedruns, and while I don't have a lot of Johto data yet, I assume that this is going to apply here as well. I replaced Totodile with Chinchou, so the rival picked Chikorita. The game is designed so that he picks the starter that's strongest against your starter, so I feel it's in the spirit of the game to go with this choice every time I replace my starter. I am hoping that level 6 is enough to manage the grass type in this first battle. Chinchou's holding a berry. I go for Thunder Wave first turn and follow it with Supersonic. Chikorita is definitely going to deal more damage to itself than I can do with Bubble. Now that I'm set up, it's time to attack. Confusion wears off, I re-establish it, and then I whittle away little by little until Chikorita faints. I name my rival with 3 question marks because I can't tell lies, and then I'm off on my adventure. Well, not so fast. I should face as many trainers as possible because Falkner represents a threat to Chinchou. His birds know Mudslap for some unknown reason. His AI is probably going to prioritize that move because I'm an electric type. Just so you know, the AI doesn't work exactly like it does in Generation 1, so I think here he's choosing moves that deal the most damage, or he sets up if he knows he can't KO quickly. Even with the training, Chinchou is only level 9 by the time it defeats the last bird keeper in Falkner's gym. Okay, so I guess I'll give him a try. I'm not sure how it's gonna go. Let's see. Falkner opens with a level 7 Pidgey. It's the most terrifying Pidgey in all of the Pokemon games. I paralyze it with Thunder Wave, and as predicted, it uses Mudslap, lowering accuracy. I go for Bubble, and it does uninspiring amounts of damage. Paralysis prevents Mudslap, my accuracy prevents Bubble, and Pidgey lowers it again. This is why this thing is a nightmare. Chinchou eats its berry and manages to take the Pidgey down, but I'm missing way too much now, and Pidgeotto ends the battle. This isn't going to work. I'm going to need more levels. So the next move that Chinchou is going to learn is Flail at level 13, so I'll shoot for that and hopefully it'll allow me to take the birds out. I backtrack, defeat one trainer, after that I start to grind. However, as I was training, I realized that there might be a faster way to do this. If I solve the puzzle in the Ruins of Alph, I can knock out Unknown, and they give slightly more experience than the Pokemon before Violet City. I reach level 13, learn Flail, and continue training so that Chinchou's health will be low. The way Flail works is that its base power is determined by the percentage of health remaining. Here's a little chart that indicates the different power levels based on health. I think that this should be enough to defeat Faulkner now. Pidgey's first. I go for Flail, it does massive damage, and takes Faulkner's lead out in a single hit. Great, that's a good start. Pidgeotto's next. Maybe I can one-hit it again? Nope, Pidgeotto survives with just under half, uses Tackle, and I thought that this was it, especially because I went into this battle with such low health. But Chinchou survives on 2 hit points and uses Flail for the win. I talk to Professor Elm's assistant, pick up the egg, and deposit it right away, because I have no need for Togepi here. I head south, skipping as many trainers as possible, and then the spinning trainer in Union Cave catches me, but Chinchou's prepared with Bubble, and it's an easy victory. Now, usually I get access to Swift at this point, but I can't learn it today, so my moveset's unchanged for Slowpoke Well. I'm only level 15 when I enter Bugsy's gym. The slow growth rate is really trying to hold me back from getting access to Water Gun before I face him. I think battling him without it is a bad idea, so I backtrack, face Hiker Anthony, finish off his team, and learn Water Gun in the place of Bubble. Now it's Bugsy time. Metapod's first. It isn't a threat, so I take it down with 2 Water Guns. Cocoon is next. It could have poisoned me with Poison Sting, but it doesn't, and then Scyther hits the field. It outspeeds with Fury Cutter, and Water Gun does what looks like a 5th. Okay, so this isn't going to be fast. I thought about using Thunder Wave to cut his speed and break his combo, but eventually I decided on using Water Gun instead. Bugsy, after all, has been breaking his own combos with Quick Attack lately, so I anticipated that he would do that. Instead, he keeps using Fury Cutter. The damage increases start to stack up, and it's getting really uncomfortable by the time Scyther hits red health. I think that it's going to KO now. He uses Fury Cutter, it does so much, but Chinchou survives with 2 hit points. Again! Water Gun knocks Scyther out, and that's it. Alright, so it's time to move on to Goldenrod. I stock up on repels and head for the forest. I save before the rival fight, and that's really good because as soon as Bayleaf hits the field, I had a like, uh-oh moment. What's my plan here? How do I stop it? I try Supersonic, it misses, the rival gets Reflect in, I confuse Bayleaf, but it still moves, and Razor Leaf does a 3rd. Okay, that's not good. Let's stack status conditions. Thunder Wave paralyzes, Bayleaf hurts itself, I go for Flail, it doesn't do much because of Reflect. I guess I just need to do chip damage and hope that the status conditions are enough. But unfortunately they aren't, and that's my second reset. I try again, and in this fight I learn that Bayleaf likes to use Poison Powder first because of how much health I have. It knows that it can't get the KO in like 1 or 2 turns. I need to be able to take my time against the beefy dinosaur, so with Poison, that's another loss. Unfortunately, I forget my Poison Cure Berry in the next fight, but it doesn't even matter. Bayleaf just takes me out with Razor Leaf instead. When Chinchou goes down for the 4th time, I decided that I need to do some training. Flail isn't doing enough, and Water Gun is resisted. It's unfortunate that I skipped nearly all the trainers on the prior route. Normally I don't need to fight them, they're just a waste of time, but today I need to backtrack and finish them all off, and I fight wild Pokemon along the way, just for a little extra experience. All this training gets Chinchou from level 18 to level 20. It took a total of 7 minutes and 20 seconds to get 2 levels. So frustrating, the slow growth rate. Anyways, I've prepared so my health is nice and low, giving Flail decent damage. But it only does 1/3. Are you serious? Bayleaf strikes back, and that's it again. Okay, so I wasn't like really low on health. I head back to the wild and lose a tiny bit more health. I come back hoping for more Flail damage. Ghastly's Lick does chip damage, and now I only have 4 hit points left for Bayleaf. I go for Flail, and it does just over half. So this is really not good. I continue to attempt, and I get loss after loss after loss. Even against the Ghastly, I lose at one point. Spark is the next available move for Chinchou that I think would help. Yes, it is resisted, but it has a higher base power than Water Gun. However, 5 levels with the slow growth rate sounds so tedious, especially against all the really low-level wild Pokemon in Johto. So this is why I kept reattempting here, hoping for better luck. I really think that paralysis in combination with a failure to damage me is required for me to get past this. Oh, okay, that's a miss, that's perfect. Flail hits, doing over half. Bayleaf's paralysis prevents an attack, and Flail knocks it out. Okay, am I gonna do this? Zubat is last, however, it isn't fast enough, and Flail finishes it off. That is a lucky win, I'll take it. This fight was absolutely awful. But I do realize that this battle isn't completely over. After all, I still have to do some testing and another playthrough. This rival is gonna see us again. I make my way through the forest grabbing items as I go, and my time here is pretty short today because once again Chinchou can't learn one of the key normal type moves. First it was Swift, now it's Headbutt. I arrive in Goldenrod City, I sell some items in the department store, grab the coin case, buy an Abra, obtain the bike, and head north picking up Kenya the Spearow on my way. Then I visit with Floria, the squirt bottle lady's sister, and now it's time for Whitney. Clefairy's first. Water Gun crits doing half, and Metronome selects Dragon Breath. Nice. Well, not so nice because it paralyzes me. Water Gun fails to KO, but Clefairy wastes time with Safeguard, and that's it for it. Miltank's next. I forgetfully go for Thunder Wave. I really wanted to break Rollout as a combo, but Safeguard prevents the paralysis, and Miltank starts to roll. Water Gun isn't doing enough, Rollout builds power, doesn't miss, and Chinchou faints. Okay, I'm gonna try this again. It doesn't get Safeguard this time, I paralyze Miltank, but then I make the ultimate mistake by selecting Supersonic in battle. By the way, never do this. As punishment, the game forces me to lose. But the pain doesn't end here. Check this out. Metronome selects Perish Song turn 1, then it selects Soft Boiled, and finally something that I've never seen happens. Whitney withdraws Clefairy and sends out Miltank. The Perish count runs out, and that's it for me again. I try one more time, but this time Clefairy decides to show me that even when it isn't selecting moves like Perish Song, it can win in just a straight up fight. Double Slap takes me to orange, and it hits me with a Metronome Surf for style points before Miltank polishes my fish off. Alright, it's time to train. I fight the remaining trainers in the gym and head north to complete the trainers before National Park. I reach level 25 on Fire Breather Walt. He's the guy with the 2 Magmars. He's so frustrating because then you have to face the guy with all the Voltorbs right after him. Anyways. With Spark, I think I have what I need to defeat Whitney. Spark does half to Clefairy, it rolls Jump Kick, does very little, and faints. Miltank time. Spark does almost half, the cow stomps, and then tries for a rollout. But it's too late, this time victory is mine. A question I get asked a lot is if I ever forget to cancel my Pokemon's evolution when I'm playing with a first stage Pokemon. Actually, it's the opposite. I've trained myself to always spam B through the end of fights to ensure that the cancel happens. In this case, I've decided to evolve in my Johto series, and breaking the habit of spamming B and allowing the evolution to take place is actually a lot of thought. Luckily, I don't forget and Chinchou evolves into Lanturn. Just in time for me to teach it the newly obtained HM Surf. Rival 3 is next. In these challenges, I'm interested in discovering a Pokemon's best possible results, so I set my DVs to a specific value to obtain the Hiddenpower type of my choosing. In this case, I went for Hiddenpower Ice because it covers Lanturn's weaknesses. Both Ground and Grass are weak to ice moves. However, I rushed over to the rival slightly too fast and forgot that it would have been safer to go to the Lake of Rage to get this move first. Now I have to deal with Bayleaf with my current moveset. I try Surf, it does a third. Bayleaf's Razor Leaf isn't that threatening anymore. It hits me again, but Surf lets me get a third hit in and that's it. Surf KOs Magnemite and Zubat. Alright, this fight was nowhere near as bad as the last one. I definitely think that the rival is the strongest in the second fight in this game. I head out west of Ecruteak City and grab the Mint Berry, and this is specifically to prepare for Morty's ghosts. I don't need to get messed up with Hypnosis. Ghastly's first. I pick Surf and it one-hits. Alright, that's great, no curse. I go for Surf against the Haunter and it also falls. So this is off to a really good start. Gengar's next, it survives with less than half, uses Mean Look, and then Surf takes it out. Alright, so this fight was very easy. I'm making it through it while saving my Mint Berry. That's really helpful because Chuck's coming up soon. I can just use the berry then too. First though, I have a few things to do. I complete the lighthouse, visit Dennis, our best friend, and then I defeat the trainers in Chuck's gym. He sends in Primate first. Surf almost knocks it out, it uses Leer and then gets KO'd. Poliwrath's next. I have the Mint Berry here because I doubt that Spark will one-hit even with the Magnet. It does more than half, Hypnosis misses, my Mint Berry is preserved again, and then I win. With Chuck defeated, I can obtain Fly, and with it, I'm going to run some errands around Johto. First, I obtain the Mystic Water from Cherry Grove City. Second, I find the Rain Dance TM in Slowpoke Well. And third, I get the Hiddenpower TM from the house at the back of Lake of Rage. Jasmine's next, and normally she's one of the hardest gym leaders in Johto, but today Surf takes care of each one of her Pokemon in a single hit. With her out of the way, I face the gym leader who's usually the worst of them all, Price. Spark one-hits Seal, it doesn't finish the Dugong, but its Headbutt does basically nothing to me. Alright then, Piloswine follows, and Surf washes it away. So yeah, Price is bad again. I definitely think that my tier list, for my next video, I'm going to replace the Bruno tier with the Price tier for Generation 2. I think that this is very fitting. One thing that's nice about the Rocket plotline is that I get a decent amount of money completing it. After selling items, I use the money to buy the TM for Thunder. After all, Lanturn doesn't get access to a good electric type move until it learns Thunderbolt from the move tutor, and that's after I defeat Lance. I'll save the TM for now because accuracy is annoying, so the consistency of Spark is going to be nice, at least while the game is easier. I journey through Ice Path, picking up the Never Melt Ice as I go, and then I face Claire. I use Hiddenpower Ice, and Dragonair goes down to a single hit. So I should sweep through all three of them with no problem. Yep, that's the case. Kingdra's last, Spark is neutral against it, but I get stabbed with it, and I don't on Hiddenpower. It does a third, Kingler starts to troll with Smokescreen, it fails, and Spark takes it to orange. Kingdra uses Dragon Breath for a small amount of damage, and Claire uses a Hyper Potion. I decide to use Confuse Ray so I don't get paralyzed. The dragon damages itself once and twice, giving me the victory. Next, I have to collect all the rare candies from Johto, I avoid most of the trainers on Victory Road, and face the rival just before the league. You'll notice that I didn't heal for this fight, and that's because he's pretty bad. However, I do like that he ambushes you right before the league. You've made it past all the trainers and you're weary and in need of a Poke Center, and then he just comes out of nowhere and battles you. It's like, ah. That is, if you don't know how to skip all of the trainers on the previous route. This sort of game design is really frustrating, but it's one of the things that I think gives me the most memories of playing Pokemon as a kid. These surprise battles always took out my team, and it was just so frustrating, and like, yeah, it just made these areas feel so much more challenging. Anyways, he isn't a challenge today, and now it's time to prepare for the league. I teach Lanturn Rain Dance, and then I follow it up with Thunder. I think this combo is going to be my best bet for the league. I use a PP up on Thunder, and now I'm ready to go. Will is first, and he sends in Xatu. I use Hiddenpower Ice, hoping for the KO, but I don't quite get it. Psychic does a fifth, Executor comes out next. I take this opportunity to set up Rain Dance while it sets up Reflect. That's okay, I don't have any physical attacks anyways. Hiddenpower doesn't KO, so I get hit with Psychic again. It's time to bring the Thunder, but Jinx survives. His team is slowly whittling me down. The rain ends and Slowbro comes out. I risk it with Thunder, and it works. So that's great. Despite the terrible accuracy, I managed to take it out, and all that's left is his ace Xatu. I miss, it takes me to red, but Thunder comes through and finishes it off. That's one of the harder Will fights that I've had in recent times. Alright, whatever, let's move on. Koga's next. As a kid, I have to say he felt like a fitting replacement for Yellow's version of the hiker who was in this room before. I never struggled against him, but in recent times, he's been very frustrating, especially with his exploding Fortress. In my Nuzlocke, he actually led to a loss of my entire first run. I never included that footage, but yeah, it was so frustrating. Luckily today, he isn't an issue, and Lanturn's moving on. I heal up for Bruno, and then I face his fighting types. Hitmontop is first, I use Rain Dance, move first, and then it digs. Okay, so setup on the second turn would have been much better. A rain boosted Surf takes it out, as well as the following Hitmonlee. Surprisingly, in this game, Hitmonchan is more likely to outspeed you because it has priority Mach Punch. Onix is easy to deal with, and Machamp comes out. Without the rain on my side, Surf does less than half, Machamp uses Cross Chop, and it knocks Lanturn out. I have something a bit embarrassing to admit now. I didn't actually save after Will. I saved in front of him, and then I just faced Koga and Bruno because I thought both of them would be very easy. Apparently I was wrong. The issue is that now I have to get past Will again, and I did mention that it was sort of hard to beat him. Let's see how it goes. Xatu's Psychic does a lot right out of the gate before I take it out. Executor hits a big Psychic, doesn't go down, and finishes Lanturn off. Okay, that's not good. I attempt again, I take less damage from Xatu. Executor goes for Leech Seed instead, but Jinx in combination with Leech Seed do a lot to Lanturn. However, Thunder is able to zap the Slowbro and the Xatu out of existence. So Lanturn survived that fight with only 17 hit points. I'm not very convinced by this. At least I'm moving on. Koga's easy again, and I make it back to Bruno. This time, I save. And it's good that I did too. Even with the rain, Surf doesn't take the Machamp down, and Cross Chop knocks me out again. I make it back on my third attempt, this time with green health, but Cross Chop gets a critical hit. Are you kidding me? Yes, Cross Chop, a 100 base power move, has an increased critical hit rate. This move really feels like it's everything that Submission should have been in Generation 1. It has 80% accuracy, which is a fair trade-off when the move has 100 base power with an increased critical hit rate. Just imagine if Submission had an increased crit rate in Gen 1. Like, that would be so good. Okay, back to the fight. Another nuisance here is that Onix can change the weather with Sandstorm, and this does chip damage to me even after it faints. That gives Machamp an easy knockout again. However, I make it back with green health in my fifth attempt, Cross Chop doesn't crit, and Lanturn surfs all over Machamp. It feels good to win, but the hardest league member is next. Karen is such a troll. I set up Rain Dance because Umbreon starts with Sand Attack. Using Rain, I can now have Thunder bypass accuracy checks and negate the effects of the accuracy drop. My following Thunder paralyzes, Umbreon uses Mean Look. Little does she know I have no intention of switching. Thunder doesn't quite KO, Confuse Ray is countered by my Bitterberry, and I finish the Umbreon off. That's the first of 5 down. Vileplume is next. It misses Stun Spore, but Sand Attack gives it another shot, and this time, unfortunately, it works. With my speed cut, Vileplume moves first, getting a single Petal Dance off before fainting. I make a mistake next. The rain has stopped and I use Thunder. It misses and Gengar sets up Curse. Being paralyzed and cursed at the same time is really not good. I make it past the Houndoom, but unfortunately the Murkrow is too fast. The issue in this fight is that I can't one-shot the Vileplume, so it's going to sometimes paralyze me. With my speed cut, the fight turns out the same way with Murkrow finishing me again. So what's the answer? Well, I honestly don't really know. After eating my Bitterberry, I still get confused and Lanturn just refuses to damage itself. It sees its goal. It's determined to get there. It's like listening to Eminem on headphones or something like that. Vileplume, on the other hand, has no idea what it's doing. It misses Stun Spore and I take it out. That's a Mom Spaghetti moment. With no speed cut this time, I can sweep her remaining team members easily. Now it's champion time. Lance sends in Gyarados. I set up Rain Dance, the Not Dragon flails, and then Thunder obliterates it. Moment of truth. Will the Nevermeld Ice boosted Hiddenpower Ice take the Dragonite out? It will. They both fall to a single hit. However, his Ace Dragonite hangs on and does a third with Outrage. Surf takes Charizard out, and all that's left is Aerodactyl. Uses Ancient Power for a third, Thunder misses. I really need to count the rain turns. I thought that it was still there. Aerodactyl uses Rock Slide, and Lanturn survives. But unfortunately, this is for nothing, because then I just miss and lose on the next turn anyways. The solution here is quite easy. I can't believe I didn't see it. I just need to use Surf against the Aerodactyl. I was a bit fixated on using Thunder because of the cool combo with Rain Dance, and then I just when the rain's gone, I'm like, well, I'm gonna miss sometimes. I just gotta keep using this move. Anyways, I defeat the champion and Lanturn clocks in with a time of 1 hour, 55 minutes, and 27 seconds, with 24 resets at level 51 and with a game time of 6 hours and 36 minutes. But I'm not done here. I'm now able to access Kanto, and we do have to play until I defeat Red. Let's go. Sabrina's the first gym leader that I face. Thunder doesn't KO Alakazam, and then it uses Psychic. Oh my, that did so much! But Lanturn hangs on with 6 hit points and finishes it. From there, it's easy going. Erica, Misty, Surge, Brock, Blaine, and Janine all fall without a single reset for Lanturn. But Blue is by far the most difficult of all of them. Pidgeot's first. I set up Rain Dance and take the bird down with Thunder. Executor follows. Hiddenpower 2-hits it while it tries to go for a Solar Beam. That's a bad idea when there's rain. Surf washes both the Alakazam and the following Rhydon away. Blue is forced to send out Arcanine in the rain, which really doesn't go well, and after that, all that's left is Gyarados. Yeah, it does not stand a chance against Thunder. Okay, so Kanto was simple, but there's still one challenge left. The ultimate test. It's red. Pikachu is his lead. He uses Charm, which doesn't matter here, and Surf takes it out. Espeon is next, Psychic does a third, and I set up Rain Dance. I take another hit, and that brings Lanturn to orange health. Surf connects, I hope for the one hit, but Espeon survives. That isn't good. If I go for Surf right away, Espeon might go down. Well, it uses Reflect this time, and it does, but Venusaur follows, and as soon as Hiddenpower hits, I realize that this isn't gonna work. That isn't even half damage. I came back with Rest because Recovery could help me do this, but apparently Surf doesn't always get the 2-hit on the Espeon. This does not feel good. A moveset upgrade might help, so I talked to the move tutor in Goldenrod and teach Lanturn Ice Beam. That's a significant base power upgrade over Hiddenpower Ice. But I actually need to make it to Venusaur to try it out. I faint twice before I finally get back here. However, my health is low. I wanted to see if I could set up Rain Dance, cut Solar Beam's power, and because it's a 2-turn move, I thought that I could heal, but that's a big mistake. Venusaur takes Lanturn down. Espeon knocks Lanturn out. Venusaur knocks me out. Venusaur Giga Drains, heals. Lanturn survives on 1 hit point, but it doesn't matter. Surf fails the roll on Espeon, and it gets me twice in a row. At this point, things are seeming very hopeless. I really don't want to have to train. At the depths of my despair, in the moment that I really needed a light, something to hope for, Ice Beam freezes Venusaur. That lets me take it out and finally make it to the Snorlax. However, this isn't good. It uses Amnesia first turn, and my special moves aren't dealing enough to knock it out. Like, they're really dealing not very much. Body Slam, on the other hand, does a lot to Lanturn. This was a demoralizing loss. I fought Red 3 more times, and honestly I'm not sure what I was thinking here. It just really isn't gonna work. I have to train. At level 72, I come back and attempt again. Now I move first against Pikachu. This prevents damage from Thunder, and I won't have to deal with Paralysis. Surf now gets the 2-hit, and Ice Beam 2-hits Venusaur, so I take it out before it uses Solar Beam. However, Snorlax sets up Amnesia, and that minimizes my damage. While Surf would do more, I'm just fishing for a crit. I push my luck too far, Body Slam paralyzes, and Lanturn goes down. I try again, but this time Venusaur uses Giga Drain on me, and I don't make it back to the Snorlax. I know that I can do this. I make it back to Snorlax, use Ice Beam, and it freezes. Yes, this is exactly what I needed. In this generation, it can thaw though, so this isn't over. I set up Rain Dance before starting my attack. Luckily, Snorlax stays frozen and it falls. Red chooses Charizard next, and it's still raining, so that's a really bad choice. Next is Blastoise. I decide to heal because I really don't want to lose now, especially after that freeze. Getting that again is just not going to happen soon. Finally, I take it down, and Lanturn finishes the game. It gets a time of 2 hours, 38 minutes, and 42 seconds, with 41 resets at level 72, and that's a game time of 8 hours and 43 minutes. After completing Red, I'll admit, I was frustrated. I had actually just played Seal recently, and I thought that Lanturn was going to be a quick and simple Johto video to get me back in the Crystal Spirit. But it was exactly the opposite of that. I honestly just stored this footage in the project folder and stopped working on the video altogether. I filmed a bunch of other content and dreaded returning to this playthrough. So yeah, all these other videos like Coughing and Ekans and Meowth, Farfetch'd, Aerodactyl, I filmed all of these after this video. I returned to Crystal and filmed the entire Ampharos video before I filmed the rest of this video. So yeah, here I am. Now I'm ready. I'm coming back to Lanturn and I'm going to see if I can figure this out. I've refreshed my overlay, and now I'm going to start the testing process. The rival in Azalea Town was Chinchou's first major hurdle to overcome. Even at level 20, it didn't feel consistent. What level is going to make this fight feel comfy? Maybe at level 21? Well, Ghastly's surviving Water Gun, so I need some health at the start of the fight so that I can survive. However, Bayleaf doesn't take enough damage from Flail. If I have less health, I need to survive Luck and avoid paralysis, but Bayleaf still survives. I went up a couple more levels to try and get better damage output, but Bayleaf is surviving with more health now. I did this 3 times, and that made me start considering alternative strategies. While I hate using Supersonic, I think the confusion after paralysis is going to be the best way to win. It looks like I can take 2 hits from Razor Leaf. I'll need Luck to win, but I think that it'll be faster than training 3 more levels with a slow growth rate Pokemon on like level 4 and 5 and 6 Pokemon. Johto Wild encounters are so frustrating. I think having a few resets here isn't the end of the world, especially since the fight's so hard anyways. Now, what's the win rate like with this strategy? Well, I was tricked by my first test, which ended in a victory. I lose 4 times in a row. So I wanted to investigate other options. What are the other moves that Chinchou can learn at this point in the game? Well, it can learn Flash. During these fights, I learned that Bayleaf likes to use Poison Powder when I'm at full health. I can counter this by bringing in a Poison Cure Berry. This does leave me open to Lick Paralysis, but I think I have to make that compromise. I thought this strategy was going to give me easy victories because lowering accuracy is just great, but unfortunately it really isn't. Thunder Wave is the better first turn choice because then Bayleaf will be prevented 50% of the time from moving. However, Flash doesn't make Razor Leaf miss enough, and I lose over and over and over. I could use the Pink Bow here to increase Flail's damage, but Bayleaf's Reflect is really helpful for it. That mitigates this damage increase. It's possible to win Thunder Wave plus Flash into Flail and pray, I guess. However, I'd like to explore another option first. What if I commit to it and level up for Spark? Well, despite Bayleaf resisting the electric type attack, it does more than enough to damage and secure a 4-hit. Plus, Razor Leaf can't do very much to me anymore. The time commitment involved in obtaining Spark is really what I don't want to resort to. What if I go for a full troll strategy? Water Gun, Thunder Wave, Flash, Supersonic with a Poison Cure Berry. I can prevent the status damage and hopefully frustrate Bayleaf into a scenario where it just never hits me. Water Gun is a strange choice for an attacking move, but it's the only thing that I can hit Ghastly with. I guess I could also hit Ghastly with Bubble, but like, why? I could also knock it out with Supersonic, but just no. Once again, I thought this was going to work, but the problem is that it takes too many turns to knock out, and that gives Bayleaf a chance over and over and over again to get a hit. Even with its accuracy lowered, it's going to get some. I'm not sure how I'm going to solve this in my playthrough. I'll probably just try for the luck, but I need to move on and test something else now. Whitney is next, and Miltank was the issue here. Spark made the fight much easier, but I wonder if I can defeat her without it. Trying the same trolley moveset, I won 1 in 4 fights. That's not a confidence boosting ratio. I think leveling for Spark is just the safest choice. Lanturn struggled next when it got to the League. Yes, it was like quite easy until then. Will is a bit tricky, so I wanted to dial in my strategy here. The choices aren't too tricky. Set up first on the Xatu and then use super effective moves until Jinx comes out. It survives both Surf and Thunder, but Surf does slightly more. Lovely Kiss could mess me up, but after I've defeated it, the fight is much easier. I'm not worried about this one anymore. Bruno can be solved by reordering my moves. Surf turn 1 against Hitmontop, it digs. While it's underground, I set up Rain Dance and then I sweep with Surf. The rain does end before Machamp, but that's okay because if I arrive with green health, it's going to use Foresight, giving Lanturn 2 turns to knock it out. Karen's more about dodging statuses than needing to do anything different. Mystic Water is a nice choice if Vileplume misses, but I don't want to count on that. I think a Paralyzed Cure Berry is just more secure. After all, right after it is the Destiny Bonding Gengar, and ensuring my speed isn't cut for it can be key. Alright, it's time to test Red. How am I going to solve him? It was absolutely brutal for Lanturn last time, and was the reason that I put this challenge away for so long. Coming back, I've finished Ampharos, and I'm now armed with some new knowledge. Surf, Curse, Return, and Rest might perform very well here, especially against the Snorlax. However, in this case, I probably don't want to be setting up against the Pikachu. But if I knock it out, I have to set up on the Espeon, and it KOs Lanturn in 3 hits anyways. If I bring Mystic Water into the fight, then I can one-hit the Pikachu and prevent Charm from ruining my attack stat. However, Venusaur follows the Espeon, and it makes the prospects of victory look hopeless. I tested out setting up against Pikachu. Honestly, it isn't as bad as Espeon because Thunder misses a lot. Also, eventually it runs out and it starts using Thunderbolt, which is less powerful. A Mint Berry here and Sleep Talk can actually make this setup much smoother. Unfortunately, sometimes Pikachu can use Charm too much, and I make it to Venusaur with +3 attack, and that's enough for a 2-hit, but it's not enough to avoid Solar Beam because my speed's cut. If I get to +6, I'm going to be able to do it. Sleep Talk felt really random in the last fight, so I'll use Protect instead. This can prevent the first turn Charm reliably and help stall Thunder's PP. This is not a fun process, it takes a long time to get +6 attack, and it isn't even a guarantee. However, I think it just might be enough. Pikachu faints to a single return, Espeon faints to a single return, Venusaur follows, but Snorlax survives. However, it's using Amnesia because it knows Body Slam won't KO, my defense boost ensures that. So after it takes damage, it's going to want to use Rest, and that gives me the time that I need to knock it out. Finally, Lanturn's typing pays off because I resist Blastoise and Charizard and take them down. So yeah, this apparently is the answer for Lanturn as well. I have a sinking feeling that this moveset might just let most Pokemon defeat Red, especially if they're relatively tanky and on the slower side of things. I really want to try Steelix again with this moveset. I think it's just going to do great. Well, let's see how I can do in a second playthrough with Lanturn. I have a bit more knowledge, I'm feeling quite confident against everyone except the rival in Azalea Town. Let's do it. I set the day of the week to Tuesday, and it's going to be relevant very soon. I pass through the grass, make sure to knock out every wild Pokemon that appears. I want all the experience that I can get. The first rival fight's easy, but it does take a while to knock the Chikorita out. This thing better be nice to me later on, please. I fight all the trainers as I pass them because I want to face Faulkner at a higher level if I can this time. I still have to do some training against wild Pokemon to learn Flail, but after that I head to Sprout Tower instead of Faulkner's gym. I might as well clear this place with Flail, earn the experience, and get Flash before Azalea Town. After that, I take care of the Birdmaster. I was worried that Flail wouldn't one-hit his Pidgey with this much health, but it still gets the job done. Pidgeotto tries Mud Slap, but I still get to hit again and that's it. Now I'm headed south. As I go, I intentionally face every single trainer, except the Magikarp guy. He's useless. After clearing Slowpokes well, I defeat all the trainers in the gym and go up against Bugsy. This time, Scyther decides to set up Fury Cutter and Bugsy doesn't break the combo. Well, I guess I should have gone for Thunder Wave, but oh well. In the next fight, I set it up and that lets me emerge victorious. Now, it's time for the brutal rival fight. I decide here to let go of Supersonic and teach Flash. I want to keep Flail. I actually intentionally backtracked and picked up the Pink Bow. This is why I set the day of the week to Tuesday. So now I can inflict more damage to the Bayleaf. Ghastly gets annoying with Sleep and Lick. Finally, I wake up and take it out. At least I didn't get paralyzed. Bayleaf is next. Thunderwave paralyzes and it tries Poison Powder but misses. I hit it with Flash, Paralysis prevents an attack, and I start to whittle away with Water Gun. But Razor Leaf connects immediately, so I decide to start using Flail. It's doing a lot of damage. Paralysis prevents not 1, but 2 attacks, and I actually take the Bayleaf down. So I won this fight on my first attempt. That's really lucky. I continue training north of Goldenrod on my way to see Floria. I want level 25 before Whitney. I fight all the annoying spinning trainers so that they won't bother me when I pass through here again after defeating Whitney. Also, apparently I fought exactly the right number of trainers because the last trainer right before Whitney brings Chinchou up to level 25. I have it learn Spark over Thunderwave because that move wasn't useful past this point, and now it's time for the Cowmaster. Clefairy is a 2-hit with Spark, Miltank follows, it starts to roll, but Spark deals too much damage and it goes down before it gains too much power. With her out of the way, I grab the Magnet, and then Lanturn can begin its rampage. Morty fails to stop it, Chuck fails as well. Price is, Price. Jasmine doesn't stand a chance either, the Rockets just completely bore me, and then, because of this, of course, I misclick on Claire's first Dragonair and get paralyzed by Thunderwave. So previously, Hiddenpower Ice was in the 4th move slot, and I moved it up before this battle. I forgot that I did that, and then autopiloted and made this mistake. So yeah, that leads to an unfortunate reset. But when I select the correct moves, Claire doesn't stand a chance either. I think that I was slightly overconfident against Will from my testing. After Xatu confuses Lanturn, I get some bad luck and the fight slips through my fingers. So I get a single reset here and then I defeat him. Koga isn't an issue, Bruno follows, and I get lucky here by critting Hitmontop with Surf. That's really nice, it's not going to do any damage with Dig. I set up Rain Dance on Hitmonlee and then I start my sweep. I arrive at Machamp with the rain still set up, that forces Bruno to use a max potion, and I get the knockout. Okay Karen, let's do this. I forgot the Paralyzed Cure Berry here. ADHD is such a pain sometimes. My brain and fingers are always like 2 seconds ahead of where all the information is in my mind, and it's just like, just clicking things before thinking. At least I remember that Rain Dance lets Thunder bypass accuracy checks, so Sand Attack doesn't affect it. Umbreon goes down, Vileplume paralyzes, it does damage with Petal Dance, and I take it out. But Lanturn only has orange health left for Gengar. I do manage to take it out, but I take too much damage from Curse, and that's it. With a Paralyzed Cure Berry, this fight is completely different. It still isn't easy. Houndoom does almost knock Lanturn out, but I manage to win. For Lance, there's only one thing that I need to remember. I'm going to use Surf on Aerodactyl. By doing this, I take it out and I win on my first try. So I've beat the Johto portion of the game, now it's time for Kanto. As you'd expect, all of the gym leaders here are very easy. So while I defeat Blue's team, I'm going to tell a short story. My fiance and I like to go for walks at lunchtime together, and frequently on them, I daydream about Pokemon. Specifically today, after playing this Lanturn playthrough to this point, I was daydreaming about a comment that I get on most of my Johto videos. The basic idea behind this comment is, why don't you use leftovers against red? Well, honestly, I just forget about the leftovers. I don't know why, they're like the best item in this game. So yeah, leftovers are obviously going to make this curse rest strategy significantly more reliable. After our walk, I was really excited to get back to my computer and test this strategy out against red. Let's see how it does. The first step of the plan is to set up against Pikachu. I'm 2 levels lower in this fight, so I want to be careful here. Between uses of Curse, I'm using Protect to deplete Pikachu's Thunder as fast as possible. Even with the occasional crit, Pikachu can't knock Lanturn out. Its electric type makes these electric moves neutral, and that's the whole reason that this strategy is working. After getting +6 attack and healing, I decide to go for the attack when rest wears off. And unfortunately, at the exact same time, Pikachu uses Charm, lowering my attack. That's really bad because now I need to set up more. Espeon uses Reflect, and as a result, it survives my return. I Protect, its next Psychic crits and takes me to orange, and then I set up Curse again. Another advantage here of having the leftovers is that every time I use Protect, I gain back a small amount of additional health for free. I survive the next Psychic, heal, however Espeon's doing a lot of damage and I really need to knock it out. I finish it off and move on to Venusaur with red health. I have to one-hit or a Solar Beam is going to end me. Return gets the job done, and red sends in Snorlax. I play very safe here by using Protect turn 1 and recover some more health, and then I set up my final Curse. With that done, I heal because I really want to play safe, and I think that I have it now. I take Snorlax out, Charizard can't do enough damage with Flamethrower, and Blastoise can't do enough with Surf either. Lanturn clocks in with a time of 2 hours, 3 minutes, and 12 seconds, with 4 resets at level 70 and a game time of 7 hours and 54 minutes. That's over 35 minutes faster than my last time. Honestly, I think this line of dialogue from Red, responding to my newfound strategic mastery, is really just like the perfect, most fitting piece of dialogue. Yeah, I outsmarted you this time. Guess what? I'll probably outsmart you next time with the exact same strategy. Now, I'm ready to rank Lanturn. I have to note at this point that I hadn't started doing multiple playthroughs yet when I made my Octillery and Piloswine videos. That means that when I'm considering these 2 Pokemon, I'm going to compare their results with Lanturn's first playthrough. With how poorly this fish did in its first playthrough, I don't really feel good ranking it in the B tier. When I compare it to a Pokemon like Octillery, it just doesn't stack up, so it's definitely ranked below that. How does it stack up against Piloswine? The pig was faster with fewer resets, but its level was higher and it finished with significantly more game time. If I'm being honest, I don't think I have enough data to make a completely accurate decision between these 2 at this point. However, I do have to rank Lanturn. I'm going to put it behind Piloswine in the C tier. Here's my reasoning. I played Piloswine almost 6 months ago, and in that time I've improved as a player. With these improvements on my side, Lanturn still clocked in slower with more resets, and that suggests to me that between the two it was the harder one to play with. While Lanturn is at the bottom of the tier list as things stand right now, I grew very fond of it during my playthrough. At least, it wins a place in my heart today. After all, just look at it. It's so adorable. Like, subscribe, ring the chime echo, and comment because I gotta read them all. Thanks to my patrons for supporting the creation of this video, and thanks to everyone else for watching. You're all incredible. Now, it's bloopers time. Falkner opens... oh my gosh. Lord Farquaad. I don't think it's a good idea to battle him without it, so I backtrack and face Hiker Anthony. After I finish off his team, I learn Water Gun in the place of Bubbles. I try one more time, but Clefairy... But what was that? Both ground and grass are weak to Weiss moves. Oh my gosh. I try Surf. It does a third. Alright, that's decent. Bayleaf's Razor Leaf. Oh my gosh. That's hard. Why is that a hard sentence? I pass through Ice Path. Oh, I passed through Ice Path. That's a hard one. I pass through Ice... that's so hard. I pass through Ice Path. Oh. I journey through Ice Path. That's better. Sounds like I'm going on an adventure. Kingdra's Lass. Kingdra is not Lass. Should I say Kingler? I should probably say Kingler. I'll say Kingler later on so everyone knows I'm memeing. Sparks neutral against it, and I get my stab. What am I saying? It does 1/3. Kingler starts to troll with Smokescreen. Kingler. Oh, I wrote Kingler in the script there. That's so funny. Onyx is easy to deal with, and then Machamp. I broke. I have something a bit embarrassing to admit, yes. I have something a bit embarrassing. I attempt again. I take less damage from the Xatu this time. Executor goes. Oh, Executor goes. I kind of fuse the two together. Executor goes. Yeah. This move feels like what submission should have been, yes. However, I make it back with green health in my 5th attempt. Cross Chop doesn't crit this time, and Lanturn, yes. The scheduling Lanturn. But Espio, yes, Espio. I got a nickname my Espeon, Eskeon. Outside of Ilex Forest, Ilex, I still don't know. Oh gosh. I think it's been a year since I've actually put the forest's name in one of my scripts. I've just stopped saying it.